Welcome to Big Truck Time. Picture this. A single truck. A single load. A cargo so big it makes skyscrapers jealous. Roads had to be closed, bridges reinforced, and people lined up just to watch it crawl past at the speed of a lazy turtle. That's not fiction. It's the world of mega hauls. The biggest cargo ever hauled by a single truck was so heavy, so enormous, it looked like someone was trying to move a small planet on wheels. This isn't just a story about trucks. It's a story about human determination, engineering genius, and the art of moving the impossible. And yes, along the way, we'll laugh, because when you're dragging 4,800 tons across the earth, a sense of humor is as important as horsepower. Let's dive in. The biggest load in history. Let's start with the headline act. The largest single load ever moved by a truck was a water desalination unit, transported in Saudi Arabia. Weight: over 4,800 tons. To put that in perspective, that's like trying to carry 800 African elephants or about 3,000 pickup trucks, all balanced on one trailer. The rig itself had 172 axles. That's not a truck. It's a moving city block dot. People didn't just watch. They stared. Because seeing a load like that roll by is like watching an alien spaceship land on Main Street. You feel two things at once: awe and confusion. How on earth does that move without snapping the planet in half? The answer? Planning. Months of it. Engineers calculated every inch of the route. Bridges had to be checked, pavement reinforced, and even power lines lifted out of the way. The haul crawled along at less than walking speed. Imagine following it in your car. You could get out, order a pizza, eat it, and the truck still wouldn't be out of sight. America's monster haul. In 1972, America had its own heavyweight champion: the transport of a nuclear reactor pressure vessel. Weight: 1,157 tons. That's 2.3 million pounds. A single truck carried it on a trailer with 384 tires. Let that sink in. 384. Tire shops must have been smiling for weeks. The truck crawled through Tennessee. Roads shook. People cheered. Kids pointed. And somewhere, one driver had the world's longest to-do list. Don't crash. Don't hit potholes. Don't sneeze while steering. This haul wasn't just about size. It was about significance. That pressure vessel was the heart of a nuclear power plant, a symbol of progress in its time. When the truck rolled in, it didn't just deliver steel, it delivered the future. The kings of the outback. If we're talking long loads, Australia holds the crown. Australians invented the road train, and they don't mess around. In 2006, one driver in Western Australia hooked up 117 trailers to a single Kenworth truck. The whole thing stretched 1,445 meters, almost a mile of machinery. Later, another record stretched to 120 trailers and weighed more than 1,300 tons. Road trains in the outback aren't just for show, they're survival. With towns hundreds of miles apart, one truck pulling dozens of trailers is more efficient than sending a fleet. Out there, the road is endless, the dust is thick, and the trucker behind the wheel is basically a cowboy with diesel instead of horses. Europe joins the race. In 2016, Sweden's Volvo Trucks decided to show off. Their FH16 pulled a 750-ton, 20-trailer road train for 300 meters in Gothenburg. It wasn't about necessity. It was about proving power. And prove it they did. For a moment, the Volvo FH16 looked less like a truck and more like Thor's hammer on wheels. Europe doesn't usually play the longest train game like Australia. Instead, they play the "look what we can haul" card. Specialized tractors, modular trailers, and Guinness record certificates are their trophies. And when you see these trucks move, you can't help but think, Humans were not meant to pull gods. But here we are, doing it anyway. Meet the Nicholas Tractamas. France gave us the Nicholas Tractamas, the king of heavy-haul tractors. In 2015, Guinness declared it the largest road-going truck ever built. Just the tractor itself weighed 71 tons. That's before you hook up the load. When this beast rolled onto the road, small cars didn't just move aside, they probably reconsidered their entire existence. The Tractamas could haul up to 1,000 tons. It had the presence of a bulldog and the stamina of a marathon runner. Seeing it idle was like standing next to a dragon waiting to breathe fire. For truck fans, it wasn't just a machine. It was a legend. Mining giants. Let's not forget mining. While these trucks don't pull external loads, the machines themselves carry mind-blowing amounts. The Belaz 75710, built in Belarus, is the biggest dump truck in the world. It carries 450 tons of rock in one trip. That's like filling a backyard swimming pool with boulders and then casually driving it down the street. Drivers of these machines don't so much drive as command. You climb up a staircase just to reach the cab. Sitting in one feels less like a truck and more like piloting a small apartment building. The scale is absurd and the noise is thunder. If the Avengers needed a company truck, they'd probably order a Bel AZ. What it takes to move mountains. So how do you move something as heavy as a desalination plant or a nuclear reactor? It's not brute force, it's choreography. Engineers break down the problem like puzzle pieces. First, distribute the weight over dozens or even hundreds of axles. Then, reinforce the route. Bridges, roads, and intersections must all be analyzed. Permits are signed, police escorts line up, utility companies raise wires, and finally, the truck inches forward. The pace is slow, but the stakes are high. One cracked bridge or one bad corner could spell disaster. Every move is calculated. Every driver, engineer, and escort car plays their part. It's less like driving and more like conducting a symphony, except the violins weigh 500 tons. The human side of hauling. Behind every record haul is a team of exhausted but proud people. Truckers who spend days creeping forward at 5 miles per hour. Engineers who check and recheck calculations. Crews who walk beside the rig, ready to signal at the slightest problem. And yes, whole towns that gather to watch history roll past. For many, these hauls are more than logistics. They're stories. The desalination plant wasn't just steel, it was water security for a desert city. The nuclear reactor wasn't just a cylinder, it was power for thousands of homes. The road train wasn't just long, it was proof that humans will always find ways to push the limits. Lessons for storytelling. Now, let's shift gears. These mega hauls aren't just about trucks. They're metaphors for life and storytelling. When you face a huge goal, writing a novel, launching a business, creating a film, it feels as heavy as a 800-ton desalination plant. But like the truckers, you can move it if you break it down. Spread your effort over small, manageable tasks. Plan for obstacles before they appear. Ask for mentors, tools, or friends to support the journey. And move at the right pace. You don't need to sprint. You just need to keep rolling. Most importantly, never forget the human side. Your story, like those hauls, matters because of who it helps. The nuclear vessel lit homes. The desalination unit delivered water. Your story can inspire, educate, or move someone to tears. That's the true power of hauling big loads or telling big tales. Humor on the highway. And let's be honest, mega hauls are hilarious in their own way. Imagine being the unlucky guy stuck behind a 800-ton truck on a one-lane road. You're late for work. You honk. The driver laughs, because he knows you could honk for the rest of your life, and he still won't go faster than a brisk snail. Or imagine the fuel stops. You don't just fill up. You basically drain a small country's oil reserve. Coffee? Don't even ask. Drivers probably keep a whole espresso machine in the cab just to survive the crawl. And GPS? Forget it. Google Maps wasn't built for turn left in 6 hours if the road hasn't collapsed. So, what did we learn today's video? The biggest cargo ever hauled wasn't just a desalination unit the size of a small city, or a nuclear reactor core heavier than your life savings in gold. It was proof that humans can move the impossible. And here's the kicker. Your story, your dream, your crazy idea. It's just another mega haul waiting for wheels. Break it down, plan the route, and keep moving forward, even if it's at turtle speed, because at the end of the day, it's not just trucks hauling steel. It's people hauling hope. So grab the wheel, tell your story, and when the crowd lines the road, give them a wave. They'll be cheering. Thanks for riding with us on Big Truck Time. Hit that like button, smash subscribe, and tell me in the comments, what's the heaviest cargo you've ever had to move in your life? I'll see you in the next haul.